The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Nate Newton, Kurt Daniels, Jesse Holley, and Shannon Gross.
We back together. You are looking live, kind of, at a covered up Tostitos Championship Plaza outside Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, Texas, where it is 46 degrees. The high is 47. The low is 26 degrees.
He is Nate. This is Kurt. My boy came back from Mexico, a couple of pints light. This is Shannon. In the back, keep us live and local. It's Chris Beam. I am Salt and Pepper Poppy. Together, we make Hanging with the Boys, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel us when we speak.
Brought to you each and every day by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Thank you, Wingstop. It's been a while. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Life's chilly. Life's good.
Man, Nate, good? We got a head nod. It might be all we get out of Nate today is a head nod. A lot going on the last.
I just want to. Is the kid named Marty Schottenheimer?
No, that's his daddy.
Dang, I got the wrong coach.
You got the wrong
I'm going,
one.
y'all.
You got the wrong one.
I was excited about Marty.
That's that
I knew
boy
we were going to run
daddy.
the ball if we got Marty Schottenheimer.
No.
Okay, all right.
It's be hard to do.
Daddy.
Yeah. So much going on. Very rarely in the off season do we have this much to talk about before the draft.
Really?
I mean, it's
Dallas.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry told you in the
Remember last year was Green Bay.
Yeah, remember It's funny, we were trying to fire a coach last year. Now we're looking back and saying, you know what? The guy that we were trying to fire, you got the Green Bay. Not so bad, right? Not looking so bad. But it's just the Cowboys. So what Jerry say? Soap opera 365 days a year.
Always.
Sure.
Before we get going, big shout out to Jaime. I met him. He listens to the show every single day.
Wow. Jaime.
Him and his wife, his beautiful wife, I met them in Mexico.
Nice.
He told me he heard about the festival I go to every year. So he started going 3 years ago. This was his third year. And every year he looks for me. He's not on social media. He can't find me. And we were sitting at this beach bar that we always sit at in between the shows. And there was a guy that had a shirt on and it said, "Trump, please buy the Dallas Cowboys and make them great again." And I was giving him stuff about wearing cowboy gear and messing with him, and and then I said, "Hey, I'm a Cowboy fan too," and he was from Iowa, so we talked for a little bit, and then everybody went on their way, and like 5 minutes later, I hear somebody go, "Shannon," and I look, and the guy was standing over there with him. He goes, "Are you Shannon? Hanging with the boys?" I was like, "What?" He goes, Bro, and he's from Ventura County. He goes to training camp all the time, so we hung out and had some beers and talked.
Brother, we appreciate
So he asked about all you guys and listens every single day. And his wife was like, "I cannot get him to shut up about y'all show."
Yes.
He listens. He loves y'all show.
The number one show on the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
Network.
Yes.
We still number one?
I'm going to say it is until somebody tell me otherwise.
Yeah, Chris. Till you
we
say
close?
no, we're going to say yes.
Say what?
We still kind of number one?
The ratings came out and you're still number
Hey! Let's go.
No wonder Derek quit speaking to me.
Yeah.
I think the email read, "It's on."
Oh, that's what it said?
Something like that.
I like it. I like it.
So for the whole year or just for like the last week?
No, you want to go to all the
still-
semantics. It doesn't matter.
I want to know.
I think it's up until this point since they started calculating it through the.
Let's go! That's why I wanted Savannah.
Yeah.
It took us forever. We got there. Let's go. Congratulations. We should celebrate.
Wingstop. Help us celebrate.
Yes, help us celebrate. There you go. But yeah, shout out to Jaime and his wife. They were super nice, and thank you guys for listening all the way
from Ventura.
Y'all sure it ain't Marty Schottenheimer?
It ain't
positive.
Marty. In fact, I know it ain't Marty.
I'm pretty sure he's
Marty ain't even with us right now.
That's what I'm saying. He gone. I'm like,
Yeah, Marty ain't even with us right
okay,
now.
okay,
So,
that's
so,
what I'm.
so
I'm
if
in
it's
a-
Marty, we gotta
We're in worse
we gotta-
shape than we were
Well,
a few weeks ago.
I want to know. I want to know who he know.
Yeah. All right, let's
Can I
talk.
do a shout out real quick? Can I do a shout out?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to shout out to Kalisha. I saw her in the lunch line. She said she's still listening to our show. Laughs every day.
Thank you.
Miss
Khalil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen.
Always good.
In
with the
legal.
Yes,
legal
yes.
department.
Oh,
Laugh.
Legals
Keep
laughing at us.
Keep
Laughing.
laughing at
there's
us.
3 people in the building you want on your side: legal,
Yeah.
IT,
Yeah.
and finance.
Shout out my boy Big Rob.
Shout out Big Rob.
Shout out to Big Rob. Shout out to Big Rob.
Hey, boy, shaking what he had,
Big Rob.
shaking what his mama made gave
Hey,
him.
Big Rob, I got some camp checks that I ain't quite got yet, Big Rob. I got some camp checks out there. They out there in the ether somewhere, Big Rob. I got some camp checks out there done. I'll give it back to the community, Big Rob. My boy, you know how we get down.
Call him. Hit him up. Let's talk about it. You brought it up. This head coaching thing. Bring me up to speed. What's going? I've been out of the loop. Who's going to be our new coach? What's happening? What's going on? Kurt, you on the inside scoop. You're in the building every day.
Man, who knows? They've interviewed 4 guys?
Yeah.
Robert Sala,
Yep, Robert Saleh.
Sala, the guy from
Xerxes.
Seattle.
Xerxes. Let's go.
Xerxes, yeah. And then
Leslie Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier.
From Seattle.
And then Kellen Moore.
Yep.
And now Marty Schottenheimer's son.
Nate, when I was in Mexico, Marty Schottenheimer's son. Come on, Kurt. When I was in Mexico, my phone was blowing up with all this Dion talk. That's
That
your
was
boy.
the first. Besides Leslie Frazier, that was the second most fantasized coaching.
I had people in Mexico asking me like, "Is that?" I was like, "Look, I don't think there's any way. There's no way Dion wants this. The only way he would do it is if they paid him enough money, and I don't think Jerry's gonna cut a big enough check to get him in this building."
Contrary to what he said last year about the check, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, about the check that he would write for a Super Bowl.
That's making its rounds on social media
Yeah,
this week.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what do any of those candidates? None of them are like wow candidates, right? Like at this point, I just want to be entertained. Like even if it's not the right coach, bring somebody in that's just gonna mix it completely up. Like somebody even mentioned Cliff Kingsbury to me. I'm like, bring him in. Like I don't think he's the right fit. I don't think he's the right guy. But let's mix it up. Let's get some new juice in here, some new blood. Like Kelly.
Bring him in for an interview, or you want to hire?
Let's hire him. If we're going to throw out Kellen Moore and people that have already been on the staff, like I've seen all that. Like that doesn't excite me.
That's a good question. Do you want somebody in house who knows
No.
Dak or something? You want new blood?
I want at this point in my life, and the way I'm affiliated with this team, and as a fan, bring
want to
me
be
some
entertained.
excitement. Yes, bring me some.
Gladiator, boy.
Kellen's not going to excite me. Like, okay, the smart thing, Kellen may be the smarter move. Is he ready to be a head coach? That's the big question, right? But just for entertainment purposes, bring some wild ass candidate in here that I'm like a Dan Campbell. Like when he got hired, it was like, what are we doing? Who is this guy? But then he was entertaining, right? And then look what he's turned into. Like, bring me Jason Witten just for the circus. Let's bring it on. Just something to make me have fun with this. Because nothing that's out there right now I think is very fun.
I got a call the other day from a guy. You know, he called me like 8, 9 at night. So I'm going to call you in 20 minutes, right? But then he wakes me up the next morning at 7 o'clock. Hey, man, can I ask you a question? Would you finish that, Jesse? Would you tell him and finish this story, Jesse?
So I'm the guy he's talking about. I'm the guy that
I like how you did that.
I'm the guy who he's talking about. But the question that I called to ask Nate was simply, when you got to Jimmy or Jimmy got to you, because I keep hearing all this conversation about, you know, the guys like him, the players like him, this player. I said, did you like Jimmy Johnson? Like, did you like him? And they said, well, he said, it wasn't that we didn't like him. We respected him. He said, but we had a healthy sense of fear of him. And when we began, he said, Jimmy became enjoyable once you did the work that was required to win. He said, if you weren't doing the work that required to his standard to win, then you wasn't going to like him. Because he was going to make it very uncomfortable for you. He was going to make it very tough for you. He was going to make it to a place to where you no longer wanted to be there. But when you did the work, and it was to the standard, and the winning came behind it, yeah, you enjoyed being around him. We had fun, and he was, lighthearted and all those other things. But when you cross that line of the work not getting done to the standard of which he held, then that's the fear. It was ruled by an iron fist. Mm-hmm. And that's what I call it. I just, in innate fashion, I just call for one question. 45 minutes later, I call for one question. 45 minutes later, but the information that we talked about and that he gave me about this conversation is why I shake my head about the hire, because it doesn't match up. It doesn't seem like this is going to be one of those things. And I think the last couple of times, because when you begin to look for comfortability and familiarity and I don't really want to upset the apple cart. To your point, I'm not always there with the circus, but to have someone come in that will be able to have a healthy dose of fear injected into these men.
The unfamiliar.
Almost
opposite of what they seem to be doing.
The unfamiliar. Mm-hmm. But not just on the surface, but through and through. Being able to say, no, star player, you can't be late for a meeting and still play.
Can a coach like that strike fear into the players, so to speak, and also work with Jerry Jones?
The working part is, and here's the thing, between an owner and a general manager, the working part should be, give me what I need and I'll give you the results, right? Give me what I need. Get out of my way. You hired me to do a job. I'm going to give you a list of guys that I need for offense, for defense, for special teams, whatever it may have you. As a general manager, your job is now to make this all work. Make the financials work. Make the roster work. If we need to make a trade, if we need to find some free agents, that's the work. This whole coaching thing and GM thing, it's not a collaboration like, hey, I need you in here with me to tell me what to do. No. It's basically, you hired me, give me what I need, and let me cook. And with that, we get dubs. But as the head coach, I rule this. I have the final say-so on what goes on in here. Now, I'll come to you and consult you on some things, but this isn't a thing where you're going to constantly be telling me what pieces to move where, who should be playing here. No.
Is that realistic?
That's how it's done. That's how the good teams do it. Yeah. That's how the good teams do it. And now you see that yield success. You see the fruits of that labor. But it's when you have when a portion of the locker room understands that you don't really control what we do, that
hurts.
And this is the part that Nate was talking about wasn't nobody jumping over Jimmy's head. Mm-hmm. Wasn't nobody going, when Jimmy said you going, wasn't nobody jumping over that and going to see somebody else. Or Jimmy said you ain't playing, or I'm finding you, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that with you. You couldn't jump over his head and get the okay from somewhere else. And now he holds your hand and walk you back into my office, and now we have to come to an agreement on what we're going to do with you. It was once you said go, I went. And the results of that is what we're going to live with. And for the coaching part of it is, if I have success, then you look good. If I don't have success, that's when you fire me, like any other job. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing that we sometimes, we find ourselves talking about and maybe running into and facing is the healthy fear that was had in the 90s. that healthy fear is no longer present because the people who need to have the healthy fear, and make no mistake about it, things are watched very closely in locker rooms. And so if you're the star player or you're the player who is presented to us as that guy, whether that be through productivity or salary, and I can watch you do certain things or lack thereof. Now, I might not be able to go full what you go, but I have a lane where I go. And I'm doing my nonsense. All my I's are not dotted, all my T's are not crossed. Because I've seen you as a superstar not dot all your I's and cross all your T's. So what ends up happening is, yeah, you might be able to get away with it because of who you are. And they may yell at me a little bit. But now what happens is we have all of these gaps. There's a gap in structure. There's a gap in attention to details. There's a gap in seriousness. There's a gap in the studies. There's a gap in the practice habits. There's a gap in how we practice. There's a gap in how we review film and how we study. There's a gap in learning the information. There's a gap in how we prepare on practices and game days. So, and what happens is to sum it all up is the devil is in the details. Too many areas have gaps. That's where the lack thereof comes in. And when you go out there on Sundays, those small little gaps that were created through how things were because they weren't corrected. They weren't nipped in the bud. The doors weren't slammed. The stars of the team didn't have all their I dotted and T's crossed, and so all other people were doing the same thing. Now what you have in those gaps, losses fall in those gaps. The communication falls in those gaps. The details falls in those gaps. And now there's penalties. And now there's all the little things that we see happen on Sunday. It starts there. And that's why I look at this hire and I go, I don't need somebody who's going to come in and be able to still be buddy with the dudes. Because now a lot of guys in that locker room already know they got social media. They looking like nobody even else wants you.
And then the gaps, just out of the gaps that you're talking about, I'm trying to find the proper word. And then when you don't have the players, the gaps turn into canyons. Mm-hmm. Because you have no authority. So I'm trying to come talk to you. Jesse, our star, his right-hand man, kicking it with him. And hey, go you over here, my guy, which ain't much. I mean, I ain't trying to down up, but which ain't much. What you gonna do? You gonna start acting up. I can't even control you now. So what do you think the 53rd guy is thinking? When they say, hey, man, you're late. You just kind of look at you, oh, well, find me. It got to be more than that. You got to have a sense of I just let down Jesse. I just let down Kurt. I just let down Shannon. You got to have that feeling. Because if you don't have that feeling, because everybody's getting paid now. Even the practice squad guys getting paid. Mm-hmm. So how do you close that gap? You have to hire the right coach. And you have to, like Jesse has said over and over, Coach, it's all yours. So when that coach closed the door to have his first meeting, the owner name should never come up. The GM name should never come up. It should be that I want it like this. This is how me and my staff gonna run it. Anything outside of this room don't count. And that's how it's got to be.
Mm. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, you guys mentioned the players. What are the guys over on that side of the building? Are they keeping an eye on this? Do they care? How do you process a new coaching search when you're on a team? How do players look at it? Let's talk about that. And man, Washington and Philadelphia. Who saw that coming?
Are you not entertained?
No one. No one. Let's talk about that. Now, how do we feel as Cowboy fans, and how do they feel upstairs about that? That's got to just be like, because, I mean, you don't feel that far off from those two teams, do you? until you. One of them has
One
a
of 'em.
very, very good young quarterback.
Y'all see my boy Jalen Carter take over the end of that game.
That's your boy. You like them boys? All right, let's talk about all that more when we come back for the second segment of Hanging with the Boys.
Number 98.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hanging with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
How about them Cowboys? Or how about them Tyson Cowboys Nuggets? As we cheer for the stars on the field, we love that we've also got some stars on our plate, thanks to Tyson brand star-shaped Cowboys Nuggets. They sure make game day special, and for every purchase of the new Tyson Cowboys Nuggets this holiday season, Tyson Foods will donate $1 to the Salvation Army up to $100,000. As you enjoy your stars on and off the plate, remember, tailgates and game day have always been Tyson.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together, and we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to the second segment of Hanging with the Boys, brought to you each and every day by blockchain.com.
Blockchain.
Blockchain.com. Kurt!
Yeah.
Been a minute.
Yeah.
Swing by your local 7-Eleven and grab your favorite item from the
Glizzy.
Roller Grill. Then enjoy a big gulp.
Oh, big gulp, son.
For just 89 cents, valid at participating stores. Fill up and get game day ready.
So, Kurt, you been how the pumps going?
They're always good, man.
Hey, no matter what, keep the
There's such thing as a bad pump.
Hey, nah.
Especially at this age.
No such thing as a bad pump, baby.
There you go.
Whoa.
So,
Your pumps get you fine, though.
How are the guys in the locker room? Are they watching this coaching search, or is it kind of like the draft? You can't kind of keep a side eye on it, but whatever happens, happens, and you're here anyway? Or are there guys that are?
It's probably 3 or 4 guys that's kind of like, okay. And then it's like 48 guys saying, oh, man, who they going to break it here?
Is there a group text going when a new candidate's breaking news? Cowboys interview so and so. Are there position groups like, bro? I hope we don't get this dude. Or hey,
If they ain't doing it, their agents know it for 'em.
Because a player, like, all right, we're interviewing Robert Saleh. Now I'm trying to figure out, all right, cool. Who do I know that either knows him or played for him? Right? Because I'm saying, all right, if he's going to be my head coach, then I need to. I know so-and-so, he played for him.
What kind of cookies
hey, bro,
did you like?
Yeah, like, bro, what is he? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what is practice like? And if I know, I'm also trying to look at, okay, like, who would potentially be somebody he bring on his staff? I've always told guys this. When I came into the league and I left the league, I tell guys this constantly. When I was training receivers and tight ends for like 6 or 7 years, getting them ready for the draft, I would tell guys, be very kind to your position coaches, be very kind to those assistants, be very kind to your coordinators, because one day you can look up. Did you just eat off the floor?
3-second rule.
Oh my God. And one day you'll look
dogs.
up.
Don't do that.
I was wondering what was going on in there.
Don't do that. No more.
You disappeared.
Don't do that no more. I eat off the floor too, but in my house, but not.
He from Louisiana, so it's whatever. It's whatever.
That must be a dang good cookie.
Yeah. But I tell them that at some point in time, those assistants, those coordinators, those position coaches, they could become a coordinator and or head coach. And the last thing that you want to do is have crossed them 3 years ago, dog cussed them out, didn't work hard for them, gave them a hard time, wasn't kind to them, and now you're looking for a job. Yeah. So there's some dudes who are now saying, man, Brian Schottenheimer, like, man,
that last week of practice.
Yeah, man, he ain't really. Loafed. I remember when I was, he sometimes, he was holding those cards when I was on the scout team and I wasn't doing what he was supposed to be asking me to do. Is he think he gonna bring me back? So that's the conversation. Or some guys are saying like, man, this guy, man, that offense ain't gonna be. Some guys might be excited. Some guys might be like, bet, bro, we ain't gotta learn a new offense. We can get the same thing. So there's a host of things, but they're talking. Guys are talking. Guys are trying to find out. Trying to find out, all right, what's the next move going to be? And if you're one of those guys, if you're, let's just say like the Dak Prescotts of the world, the CeeDee Lambs of the world, I'm trying to get good in now. I'm trying to, hey, my boy, I'm trying to get in good. Hey, remember we talked about before last year we was on the sideline? Hey, we need to implement that, man. Like, we need to really get this going because I want him to think about how can I get implemented in whatever system he decides to put in. Where do I fall on that? And I don't want to be left behind.
How much are guys like Dak, CD, Micah, whoever, are they being asked their opinions as part of this process? Are they involved?
I hope not. I honestly do.
Some guys you can go to and that question, but not here. Don't do that. Don't do
like
that.
You do that when you're Tom Brady and you 5 Super Bowls in. You 3 Super Bowls in. Like, all right, cool. What do you like? Because whatever you like will lead to us being successful. The proof is in the pudding.
You got the skins on the wall.
You got the skins on the wall. But I'm like, and this is no knock. I'm not talking bad about CD or Micah or Dak or any of those guys. But you haven't done enough for me to value your opinion on what is winning, what winning looks like. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you had a couple bowls underneath your belt, Patrick Mahomes,
NFC Championship.
We can have the conversation with Patrick Mahomes.
But when you've got so much money wrapped up in
doesn't matter.
Prescott and the Lamb, do they want their opinion on
I got so much money wrapped up in you. Damn it, you do what I ask you to do when I ask you to do it.
All right.
And ain't no coach.
I'm paying you $60 million a year. You telling me you uncomfortable with learning a new verbiage? Paying you $60 million. If I wanted you to learn damn Taiwanese, you better get Rosetta Stone and learn Taiwanese. Like that, I'm paying you $35 million a year. If I want you to learn Kazakhstan, you better get whoever go get a tutor, go spend the offseason in Kazakhstan and learn the language.
Is that even a country?
I don't know.
I don't think Taiwanese is a language either.
I don't know.
Pakistani.
Whatever it is.
Hey, but
learn it. I'm about to pay Micah Parsons one of the richest contracts in defensive side of the ball history.
Go create a language.
You better learn it.
Wow.
Well, most coaches gonna have knowledge of who you are. Not a lot of knowledge, but they're gonna have some knowledge of who you are, and they're gonna be able to make adjustments on their offenses and defense for these superstar type players. But that just goes back to what Coach Johnson used to tell me. First of all, your leaders is unquestionable have a thirst that you wouldn't believe to getting better. So you should never worry about whether we Dak friendly, Parsons friendly, or CD, because these guys should have a level of go get it that cannot be matched, and that's what the good coaches look for, and that's what coaches are starting to understand. Number one, I'm gonna run this show, and if not, the number two thing is, do you have a quarterback? Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have a quarterback, I'm in trouble because I can't cover none of my sores. Mm-hmm. So that's the two things. Either I'm gonna go find my quarterback and build my team, or I got a quarterback. And if you got a quarterback, we know what that can do for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our second break. When we come back, we will finish out the show. We'll talk about Philly and Washington.
You gonna go rinse out your mouth for me to cookie off the ground?
It's too late now. He already swallowed it.
I probably got all type of dog. Come on, Shannon.
Look, I didn't even think about a dog being in here till you brought that up.
Wow. Used to throw up on the ground too. Ooh.
Where at? Chris, come show me where at. During the break. We'll be right back.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
This is Nate Newton from Hangin' with the Boys, and Wingstop is here to bring the flavor to game day as the official wings of the Dallas Cowboys. Order now by downloading the Wingstop app or ordering online at wingstop.com.
Hey Cowboy fans, I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. But lately, I've been learning a new game, crypto. Sound confusing? Don't worry, even us pros were rookies in crypto once. That's why I trust blockchain.com. They make crypto easy. No confusing jargon, just the tools to help you win.
Prescott keeps it, slides with a first down.
Invest like your icons, where everyone is a rookie in crypto with blockchain.com.
Perfect throw, my goodness. Wow, did he ever thread the needle?
Visit blockchain.com/Cowboys to get started.
Fall is here, and that means football is back, bringing all the delicious game day foods with it. As you prep for all the big games, tailgates, and watch parties, let Yo Quiero be your one-stop destination for all things home gating. Yo Quiero's fresh, flavorful, ready-to-serve guacamole, made with real Hass avocados, will score taste bud touchdowns as you cheer on the Cowboys. Yo Quiero's wide range of mouthwatering and versatile products can be found in your local grocery store's produce or deli section. Grab some today.
Hey, Cowboys fans, a 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Cowboys football games or to any other live event, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
Back to Hangin' with the Boys.
Welcome back to the final segment of Hanging with the Boys, brought to you each and every show by Jigsaw, the proud dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, let's finish it out with a little. What do y'all think about Philly and Washington being in the NFC Championship game?
What do I feel?
Yeah, how you feel about that?
Good for them.
You think you
Cowboys fans are a little upset, I think.
You think?
What they upset about?
That the Cowboys are home and Washington and Philly are in, and there's your ex-offensive coordinator on one side and your ex-defensive coordinator on the other, and a whole string of players in the game. I mean, it's just tough to take. It's just throwing more dirt on the.
Man, I just got tired of hearing my wife say, "Didn't he used to play for us, baby?" Baby, I didn't know he went there. Then we turned on the Rams, gave him
Neville Gallimore.
Yeah, Galloway.
Yeah. Not the Randy.
You don't think it means much, though?
Mean much to who? To the fans?
Yeah, or how even here in the building.
Oh, in the building, in the building.
What do you think is more of a kind of a hit the table, that it's two division rivals that are in it, that a year ago you were head and shoulders above both of them probably a year ago?
At least one.
Yeah.
For sure, head and shoulders above one.
Or the fact that your defensive coordinator that you let go be a head coach somewhere else is in his first year in the NFC Championship game. I think that's probably the one that, like Kellen, he doesn't have a whole lot of control over. He can control what he can control on offense, and you can say that their offenses, with the tools they got, they should be good. 50 points a game, right? With Saquon and that receiver duo, you should be running circles. But I bet that defensive that defensive coordinator you had here being a head coach and making it.
You want to know what's going to be the depressing part? What should be the depressing part is that you were head and shoulders better than Washington. And in 1 year, they're in the NFC Championship game. On top of that, their quarterback still has 3 to 4 more years on his rookie deal. Next year,
if they can build a team around.
Next year, Washington has the second, currently sitting right now, Washington has the second or third highest amount of money that they can spend heading into the offseason.
Because couldn't you argue that this, like talent-wise, barring injuries, talent-wise, the Cowboys have now that they have a quarterback that they do. You can debate that whatever you want, but like surrounding that on offense and defense, the Cowboys might have more talent than Washington. You don't think so?
Oh, I did. I thought if they were healthy, I thought the Cowboys are better.
No.
Outside the quarterback.
No.
You don't think? You think Washington's got more talent?
No. Y'all ain't been watching no games, brother. And they took one of our guys who we liked. I was finna go country on you, liked it. And Armstrong, number 92, he's elevated his game. Mm-hmm. No, brother. Their running back is a bad man.
Brian Robinson.
And he finally figured out, you know what, I'm going to quit stutter stepping and I'm finna get downhill. Yeah, bro. We can match them at wide receiver. Offensive line, it ain't no doubt. So now, no. They two guys on the inside. You take Olsen and our guy versus they two guys on the inside, that ain't happening. What we have over there is Parsons. What we have is 2 cornerbacks when healthy. After that, name it. No, we're not more talented than them.
Okay.
Yeah, because you think about it. I'll take Bobby Wagner over our linebacker. I'll take Frankie Louisville over our linebacker.
Don't even mention him.
I forgot about that.
Where did he come from?
Carolina.
First time I heard about it was when Jesse mentioned him. Then
He a bad
I
man.
can't keep my eyes off of him.
He make plays, man.
When he's playing.
Big black man or Louisville. It might be Samoan.
Yeah.
Maybe
Tongan.
Yeah.
You know, he figuring it out.
Still a minority. Still a minority.
He's still dark.
Still dark.
Nice hair.
Still dark.
Big.
No, we're not more talented.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. How do you feel about it, Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. I think it's just another bad look and a whole season of bad looks.
Yeah.
I remember we had this question during the summer. The website does a series with 20 questions, and one of the questions was, had the rest of the division caught up with the Cowboys? And my thinking was it so much they caught up or the Cowboys fell back? And yes, Philly added Barkley, Washington added Daniels, that sort of thing. But at the same time, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys took a big drop back.
No, the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
Right? Like they got better, Cowboys got worse. The answer is yes.
We had this discussion when he called me about one subject, and I jumped over to the Washington team. They have always been one quarterback away for the last 6 years. They have always been a quarterback away. Remember, I wanted the brother fired last year because he was killing the quarterback because he would not run. Eric Bennett, love you to death, but I wanted you gone because you had a good running back and this kid, and they had another kid that they let go.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same team, fellas, that's been sitting there for 4 or 5 years. 2 things have changed. The head coach got rid of the owner, brought in another guy, and the quarterback. It's the same team. Go back and look on paper. It's the same team. Come on, man. And you know what? They ain't talking about, hey, man, we got knocked out in the divisional round. They in the NFC Championship game. 2 teams from our division is in the NFC East, not NFC, but the NFC Championship game. Come on, man.
I wonder how many times in the history of the league that 2 teams from
the same division
and
same conference. I mean,
yeah,
easy,
a
lot.
Yeah.
But at this point, do you think the Cowboys are significantly behind those other 2, or is it just, by next season you turn things around, you're not playing a first place schedule, and all of a sudden you're back?
To my point earlier about Washington, all they're gonna draft good, and they're gonna sign more guys. They have the money to go out there and keep adding on to that team with premium prospects, premium free agents. They don't have to go, bottom of the barrel bargain shopping.
No.
They have enough money that they can go out and go and sign. I'll just give you a wild example. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Khalil Mack, right, is an unrestricted free agent. Reports came back that he is decided that he's going to play another year. They have enough money where they can say, you know what, Khalil, come be for us what Von Miller was for the Broncos when they won their championship. Come be the finisher. Just be a third down pass rush specialist. We'll give you 1 year, $20 million.
Like Graham did for Philadelphia.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have money where they can just throw it and not have to suffer the consequences of it. Not, won't hurt their cap again. And they can do that for the next couple of years because their quarterback is on a rookie deal.
It doesn't really work that way, though.
What doesn't work that way?
Well, you say that they're second in cap. They're actually third, okay?
Third. I said second or third.
Second or third, okay. That's fine. But they only have 34 guys under contract.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They have to pay.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're not strapped where they now can't pay those guys if they want to and go and get
I
premier
understand
free
that,
agents.
but you still have to fill those gaps with guys.
That's fine, but
that money's gonna get chewed up pretty quick.
But I'm not in a deficit.
Be aware of that.
I'm not in a deficit. It's one thing to be in a deficit. It's one thing to be at the low end of it.
You don't have to bargain shop.
I don't have to bargain shop
the whole time.
I can do whatever I want.
And the option that you have, and this is what I always hated about the 49ers and when the Seahawks were rolling, and the option that you have now is not only do you have a little cap space and you still got to sign those extra guys, but now you can say, hey, man, we're winning.
Right.
So if a guy's on his last few years, he like, man, I'll take a little bit less money because these dudes, they got a shot at going deep in the playoffs. And that helps. I mean, that does make a difference. When you get, you rolling up on your last few years and, man, we're going to, or you want to prove yourself. Nobody signed you during the offseason, but you're a quality player. They're like, come on in here, man, on a 1-year deal. That winning helps.
See, these are the type of teams where you go and you add, like I said, you add those little those veteran pieces. You add those veteran guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and then your depth. Wow.
That's your depth comes into play because you're right now. Your team currently constructed is a good enough team, obviously, to play in the NFC Championship game. So now you just start now. I can pick and choose where I want to. I want to get real specific there. Right. If I want to do a third down pass rushing specialist, if I want to go put a little bit of money in, there's a offensive lineman that I really like. That I'm saying, you know what, this might be the finishing touch here. I'm not going into this thing so desperate for. My draft isn't desperate. My offseason spending and choosing isn't desperate. I don't have a plethora of needs that I'm going into. So I just say all that to look at it and go, when they come back next year, when Philly comes back next year, like they're coming back already locked and loaded and just moving on from there. We already seen it, and I know that Philly will have cap issues down the road, whatever that comes to about. But the way Howie's done it in Philly has been like, we'll worry about that when that day comes. But right now,
everybody thought the Rams was going to have all the cap.
They be down they have a down year 1 year, come back up, re it back up, be bad for a year, and then boop, we back at it again. But
how big of a deal before we get out of here is it that Fossil went to the Titans for the same money?
Yeah, what happened with that? Did you get an inside scoop on that while Fossil jumped?
There were reports that they wanted him to come back, but whatever reason they just.
I think that's a telling sign too. That a guy, you have arguably the best kicker in the league, give or take, right? That's an argument, debatable.
Right.
You have the best kick returner in the league. I don't know how much you want to debate on that, whether Kevon Turbin is not.
He's in the conversation.
Right, he's in the conversation. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't out of the top 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
And neither is Brandon Aubrey. And for a special teams guy, that's like having an elite quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I got a kicker and a specialist. And he goes, I'm going to go to a team who had a worse record than the team I just left. Like, that just tells you a little bit about how maybe some of these guys are feeling when it comes to all that is
and
under the umbrella.
Personal brand standpoint, like the brand doesn't get any bigger than
Yeah.
You know, you're on TV more. There's more recognition. If you're wanting to elevate your career, you know.
It's just not a good look right now. Just not a good look.
Yeah. I mean, he
across
had
the board for.
He had the deal. He had to take it. He couldn't wait to. What if? You know, what if the Cowboys offer this or how much or whatever? So can't blame him.
Yeah.
Moving quick around here.
I had a few people ask me like, "Man, how's it going?" I'm like, I can't imagine that feeling, bro. Where if I'm walking past people, hey, how you doing? I'm hyped. I'm forgetting what they're going through as coaches and staff members.
They don't know.
They don't know, and they like, well, you know, pray for me. And I'm like, bro, I'll be wanting to grab them right there and go to the knees, cause boy, gonna take everything we got. To keep you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Wow, I just felt when the guy walked away, I just felt so bad. So I made Kurt sit down with me. Kurt, come sit down with me.
But I mean, is that a big loss though with your special teams coordinator? I mean, that maybe don't have quite as big an impact as your offensive defensive coordinator, but still, seemed to be a good.
He ran the practices in training camp.
Did he?
Yo, that ain't nothing. You know, you get another guy, I guess, to run.
I mean,
yeah.
Hey, for whatever special teams brought, good, bad, or indifferent, it was on the back of Bones.
I know Joe Avazano was my man. D. Camilla, you learn the good one's name.
Yeah.
You know, and they have power around the league. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Well, we might have some completely different conversations next week, or guess what? Might be asking the same old questions. Just depends on what happens in the next week. It's going to be interesting. That's for
So
sure.
how soon? So you saying next week we have a coach?
Yeah, we
You think we'll have a coach by the time we do the show next week?
for sure, hands down.
You think by Monday?
But I'm before we hit the weekend.
You don't think they'll wait to interview Kingsbury or any of these other guys? Joe Brady or somebody?
No.
You think the
Yeah,
names
but two
that have been
candidates,
brought
man.
names that have been brought up?
That's
It's going to be
those
one of
two?
Mr. Moore and
mean-
Marty Schottenheimer.
No, that's not
them.
Marty.
Name's Brian.
Brian. It's Brian. It's Marty's boy.
You actually, he really thought that was.
Come on, Trey Daddy.
That wasn't a bit.
Nathaniel Newton III, Daddy.
All right, fellas. Well, hopefully we have a coach this time next week, so we have a lot to talk about and can fill an hour. If not,
I love when Jesse called me. I get to spend some time with him.
tune in to find out, or you'll know by then. Tune in to hear what we have to say about it.
Yeah.
Next week, when's the Super Bowl?
February 9th.
February 9th.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
So
2 weeks from now.
conference championship games this weekend, right?
Then off.
Week off, and then Super Bowl the week after that. So we'll have stuff to talk about for a while.
Work on your salary cap there, Egan. You're overpaying a few of them up, Doug.
We will be back. Jesse, good seeing you. Kurt, good seeing you. Nate, good seeing you. Chris, thanks for keeping us on the air. Jazz, Josh, thanks for keeping him company in the back. We will be back next Thursday on Hanging with the Boys.
We out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?